The basic bodice serves as the foundation for various garment designs, whether you are creating blouses, dresses, or jackets. Understanding the bodice is crucial. It's like building a solid house. You need a frame before adding walls and windows, right? In this step-by-step guide, I will demystify the process and make it beginner friendly. I will also demystify the process of basic sleeve patterns. So grab your measuring tape and let's get started. Divide the neck circumference by 5 and mark it here for neck wideness. For its depth, still divide the neck by 5 plus 0.5. Use a pencil to box it out like this. Divide your shoulder measurements by 2 and make a mark here. Our shoulders are not straight, they are inclined to some extent, and for that reason, we've got to slant our shoulder line by approximately 1 inch. So now, divide your armhole circumference by 2 and make a mark here. Draw a line from the shoulder slant to the point you just marked. Draw a line perpendicular to it. This line automatically becomes the chest line or upper bust line. Next, find the midpoint of this line. Go in by approximately 1 inch and make a mark. Time to make use of the French curve. Place it like this and draw a nice curve. Draw your shoulder line and then your armhole. Remember, you went in by 1 inch. Ensure these places form a 90-degree angle. It's very necessary for smooth joining. Move on to the rest of the pattern by marking the horizontal lines first. Mark your bust line, waist line, and then hip line. Draw out the lines. Don't bend your ruler to ensure they are parallels. Now you've got your bust line, your waist and hip line. Remember, this is the chest line. Label these lines: chest line, bust line, waist line, and hip line with a pencil. Now we transfer our horizontal measurements. Divide bust circumference by 4 and mark it along the bust line. Divide waist circumference by 4 plus 1.5 inches for that allowance and mark that on the waistline. And finally, divide hip circumference by 4 and mark it on the hip line. On our chest line, transfer the bust circumference. Connect the points you just made like this. Connect the waist and the hip, and then the chest and the waist. Congratulations, we just drafted our skeleton for the almighty basic bodice pattern. Let's go, the dart creation. We're gonna create 2 darts. One here on the waistline and another on the chest to waist side line. Take your bust span, divide it by 2 and mark it as points on your bust, waist and hip lines respectively. Draw a straight line connecting these 3 points. The mid dart should start 1 inch below the bust line and ends 2 inches above the hip line. Remember the 1.5 inches we added for that allowance on the waistline. Now mark that here for the mid dart. Mark the 1/2 inch here and the 1 inch on the opposite side. This is 1.5 inches wide. Place your ruler like this and make your dart. Now to the side dart. It ends approximately 3 inches above the waist and start 1 inches below the bust point. Our side dart is 1 inch wide. Extend this line a bit, connect it like this. That extension is very necessary for a consistent side line after the dart intake. Back to our mid dart, connect the points like this. And then on the hip line, we add an inch for hem allowance. Draw a straight line. Use your curve and then straight to the folded part. Let's try and smoothen the mid dart. Our bodies are curvy and we don't want sharp edges here. Remember, we are cutting the back and the front together, and the back armhole differs from the front in depth. So draw the back armhole. It's a bit shallower than the front armhole. The back neckline also differs in depth. It's the same wideness as the front, but only an inch deep. Now we cut. This is the front and this is the back. Cut this part out for the front. You can see that the front armhole is deeper. Cut this extension on the back because we are not going to create a side dart on the back. Cut the neckline for the front. We're not done yet, we're gonna create a back dart. And to do this, transfer your horizontal measurements like this. Your chest line, your bust line, your waist line, and your hip line. Take your bust span, divide it by 2 and mark it as points on your chest, bust, waist and hip lines respectively. Draw a straight line connecting these 4 points. Another difference, the back dart starts 1 inch below the chest line. It ends 2 inches above hip line. Label your lines. Our dart is 1 inch wide. Connect the points like this. There you have it, the basic Bodice pattern. Label this as front and this as back. Measure the armhole circumference for the front and back Bodice patterns accurately. We get a fresh piece of pattern paper folded into 2 halves. We mark our cap height using this formula. Cap height L equals armhole circumference divided by 4 plus 0.5 to 1 inch. Next, draw a diagonal line that is equivalent to armhole circumference divided by 2 plus 0.5. Divide this line into 3 equal parts. At this point, go out by approximately an inch and mark another point. And at this other point, you go down a bit, say 0.5 inch. Try sketching your sleeve curve by connecting the points like this. Measure your desired sleeve length at this point. I'm using a marker to highlight the curve. Connect these points. Cut it out like this. The front curve of your pattern is actually deeper than that of the back. Label your pattern. Go in by a quarter or half of an inch and make a curve like this. Cut this part out. This is our sleeve pattern.